This conference will now be recorded.
So in the previous session, we have discussed about parameterized procedures, and we have discussed what exactly a parameter and what it indicates, and what is the use of parameters and how to supply the values to the procedure dynamically at runtime to make the functionality dynamic we have discussed, and how can we receive the values from the parameters and how to supply the values to the fields in order to create the records also we have discussed with the various use cases. Now, today we'll see the second category of subprogram, that is functions. So that already we know, as part of subprograms we have two categories. Two types of subprograms are available. First one, procedures. Second one, functions. As of now, we have discussed about procedures. Then how can we define the procedure and how to define a non-parameterized procedure, how to write the logic, what is the drawback in non-parameterized procedure, and how to overcome those drawbacks by using parameters we have discussed. As part of parameterized procedures, how to pass numerical values, how to pass string values, how to pass decimal values, how to pass combination of different types of values we have discussed. Now, so now let's see the concept of functions. Then what exactly a function, what is the use, and how to prepare the functions, okay, we'll see. How these functions are different from procedures, we'll see that. So during the procedures concept that already I told you, procedures are like as fire and forget options. These are like as fire and forget options. That means just you can able to okay invoke the procedure, but don't expect any confirmation back. Okay, just you can invoke it, leave that here, but don't expect any okay value back to the calling environment because procedure won't return any value back. That's what procedures are having the return type as void. Void means nothing. Procedures won't return any value back. The return type of the procedure should be always void. Then in some cases, okay, in some cases, I want to invoke a particular business logic. Once operation has been done, I want some confirmation back. I want the result back. Then how to do that? That means I want a feature which will like as a request and the response option. I want a feature which will work like as request response option. When we make a request, it has to process the request, it should send the response back to me. So based on that response, we can take the decision. Based on the response, we can go ahead. For that reason, I want a feature which will take some input values. It has to do some operations over here, then it has to send the response back. I want a feature which will work like as request and response. Now, let me explain where exactly this kind of feature is required. For example, I'm using Amazon application. I'm using an Amazon application. Today, I want to buy a product. Through Amazon, I would like to buy a product. For example, today I want to buy a product of Samsung Galaxy Mobile. I want to buy A54 model of Samsung mobile with a 5G supported mobile. I would like to buy. So I have observed the features of this mobile. Features are very good. Now I would like to buy. I'm selecting the configuration also. It's a 8 GB RAM, 128 GB storage space. Now I would like to check that colors. Now we are having this green color, black color also. I would like to buy a black color of mobile. Click on buy now. I'm selecting the location here where exactly you would like to deliver the product. Use this address. Now select the payment method. So once the delivery address has been selected, then select the payment method. Now I would like to select the payment method as net banking. I want to choose Axis Bank. I want to choose this Axis Bank. Now click on use this payment method. Once the payment method has been selected, then it is indicating place your order. As soon as once I click on this place this order button, now the request will be going to that Axis Bank application. That means Amazon application is redirecting you to that Axis Bank application to make the payment over here. To make the payment, it is going to be redirecting the user to that Axis Bank application. Now, in this Axis Bank application here, we have to specify the username and the password, log into the application. Once you are done with that payment, once you are done with the payment, it will be giving the confirmation back to Amazon application. That means Amazon application is redirecting the customer to that Axis Bank application. It is waiting over there. It is waiting for the confirmation from the bank. So now if the money has been transferred successfully, it will confirm the order, it will be delivering the order to the customer's place. Suppose if the banking application has given that value as some not transacted, that means transaction is not done, transaction is failed, then it will be canceling that order, it won't deliver the product over here. That means what? Amazon application is waiting for the confirmation from the bank. Based on the result written by that banking application, it will take the decision. If the bank application has given the confirmation as success, that means your money has been transferred, then it will be confirming the order, it will deliver the order to the customer's place. Suppose if it is returning that value as failed, that means transaction has been failed, then it will be canceling that order. So based on that result back, I would like to take some decision. In that case here, we can go with the help of a feature called as functions. So functions are like as request reply option. Whenever we are invoking a function will perform certain operations. Once the operations has been done, it will return some value back to the calling environment. So based on that value, we can do the respective operations also. Okay. So in this case, whenever we are expecting some result back from that sub program, then we can go with the help of functions. Then in this case, you can raise a question, sir, what kind of logic that we can write inside the function? Same like as procedure. That's it. No change at all. Whatever the way we are preparing the procedure, whatever the way we are writing the logic, whatever the way we are passing the parameters, similar fashion we can able to write that business logic inside that function, but function will return the value. That's it. Procedure won't return the value, function will return the value. So that's what here, as part of this function, we have to use a return statement. By using return statement, we can return the value back to that calling environment. Then how can we define this a function and what is the syntax we used to follow? Now let's see, and we'll see with the practical use cases as well. Okay. Then, so after this, we'll see how to implement a chaining mechanism. Chaining mechanism means what? Hmm. Now, generally the chaining will be look like this. It will be having so many rings will be getting interconnected automatically here. It will be connected. Like the similar way, I would like to have some multiple procedures also. This is a procedure 1, procedure 2, procedure 3, procedure 4, procedure 5. Whenever I'm invoking the procedure 1, it should call procedure 2 automatically. Procedure 2 will call procedure 3. 3 will call 4, 4 will call 5. Like that here, how to implement this kind of chaining mechanism also, we'll see practically today. Clear? Now, make a note of this point here. Functions are like as request reply feature where each function will perform certain operations and return the value back to the calling environment. Now, function contains one or more statements which are used to perform certain operations, and it will return the value back to the calling environment. Each function should return a value by using return statement. Return statement. Now, while defining the function, we have to specify the return type based on the value based on the value to be get returned to the calling environment. Note, we can pass one or more input parameters to the function based on the need to make the functionality dynamic. Syntax. So we can specify the access specifier. We can specify the return type, function name. If required, we can pass the parameters. Here we can write the business logic. And we can specify return the value. Done with the syntax? Now. So now once a function has been getting prepared, then how can we invoke the function? How to invoke this function? Now let's see. Suppose if it is a normal function, okay, if it is a normal function, we can call the function by using object name dot function name, same like as procedures, nothing different. So whatever the way we are calling the procedures, similar fashion we can call the functions also. Suppose if you are defining the function as a static function, if you are defining the function as static, then static functions, how can we access? Class name dot function name. That's it, same. If the function contains any parameters, then we need to pass a value for those parameters mandatorily here. Okay, now let's see. Invoking the functions. Once the function has been prepared with the required business logics, then we can invoke the function by using the object of the class as below. If the function has been defined with few parameters, then we have to supply the values for the parameters. Now, in this case, upon calling the function, what it will do, it will return a value. Because it is having a return statement, it returns a value. That return value we need to store into our variable over here. Simply, function will receive some parameter value. Based on the parameters, it will do certain operation. Once the operation has been done, it won't print on the debug log file, simply it will throw the result back. Okay, it will collect the input, it will do the operation, it will throw the result back here. Whenever it is throwing the result back, then we need to catch that result here. It depends upon the return type which we have indicated. We have to define a variable. In that variable we have to store the result. We have to catch the result, store into a variable. From there we can use wherever you want here. This is one additional step that we have to do. When compared with the procedure, this is the additional step in functions. Okay, now let's see. While invoking the function, it returns a value back to the calling environment. Hence, we have to store the value inside a variable of the associated type. Syntax. A data type variable name equals to object name dot function name. We can specify the value. Value 1, value 2, like that. Done with the syntax? Now, let's see. How can we prepare the functions? Let me show you with a practical use case. I'm going to my Salesforce tag now. I'm going to the developer console. Let me prepare a class. I'm preparing a class with the name some common helper. In this class, I would like to prepare few functions. How to prepare these functions? Okay, now let's see. Now I would like to prepare a function which can take three integer values as input. It should perform the addition operation. It should return some value back to the calling environment. That means what? It will take three input values, at runtime, of type integer. It should collect those three input values. It has to do the sum of these three values. It should return the result back. It should not print anywhere. It should not print on the debug log file. Why? Because I have a Visual Force page or I have a Lightning component where I want to print this value. I don't want to print the value on debug log file. I want to print the value on my result screen. I have designed the screen by using Visual Force programming or Lightning framework. So on that screen, I want to print this value. So that don't print the value on debug log file by using system.debug. I want to print on my okay, Visual Force page programming. For that one, I want to get the value back. Once the value has been collected, we can print wherever you want. It may be you can design a Visual Force page also, Lightning component also, anything, wherever you want, you can print that value also. That facility is available. Now, let's see. Let me prepare a function. Public. I'm not giving any return type over here. I would like to define the function as static function. Here we have to specify the return type. I'm giving the function name as addition. Now, in this case, it will take three input parameters. Integer, first number, integer, second number, integer, third number. Three input values. Then what this function will do, this function will take these three input values at runtime. Based on these three values, it will perform the addition operation. It will return the value here. So now we are performing the operation. First number, second number, third number. It is performing the addition of these three values. Once the operations has been done, then it should return the value. So that I'm indicating return. I don't want to use system.debug because I'm not printing these values on the debug log file. I want to print it on Visual Force programming. For that one, just it has to return this value back. Now tell me, so now this return statement will be returning the value of type what? Integer. Why integer? There is a mathematical principle. Whenever we are doing the addition of two integers, the result also again an integer. So we can define integer here. So whatever the value you are going to return, that value type we have to specify as return type over here. These two should be exactly matching. That means the return type. Here I am indicating this return type as integer. Please remember the point here. Whatever the return type we have specified, whatever the value you are going to return, both should be exactly with the same data type here. If both are different, it will show the error message, compilation error. Okay. Now, suppose for example here, if I'm giving like as a string, when I try to save this code, now it will show the error message also here. See, illegal conversion from integer to string. So the code will not get compiled. So here I'm indicating. Let's see. Now my code has been compiled. Clear? Now, next one. I would like to perform the mathematical operation. Like I want to perform the operation of multiplication. How to do this multiplication operation? Let's see. Public static multiply. I would like to take two input values. Integer first number, integer second number. I want to take these two values. I would like to perform the multiplication. I would like to return the result back. Return first number into second number. Return first number into second number. What is the return type now? Integer, right? Integer. Equal returns an integer value. Now I want to prepare a string related function here. Now my requirement is I want to prepare a function which will take one string value. In that string, how many characters are available? It has to count, it has to return it back. Okay, now let's see. Public static string, now input string or such a string. Now I want to collect that. In this particular string, how many characters are available? I would like to count. How can we specify? Set string dot length. I want to return. What is the value? Return type is what? Integer. Okay. Now observe the scenario here. Why I'm giving this function is the input value is what? String type. Return value is what? String type. Return value is integer type here. Now in this case, when you observe the previous two functions, here input values are also integer type, return value also integer type. But here input value is of type string, return value is of type integer. Okay, so now, so don't expect that if I'm passing input always in the form of integer, it should return only integer value. Don't expect that here. Input value may be any type, return value may be any type also, depends upon our requirement. Based on our application requirement, we can do that. Okay, now, next. Now, now let me prepare one more function here. String. Now the first name or some first string, string one, string str2. I'm comparing both the values here. I would like to check if str1 equals to str2, then both the strings are what? Equals. Okay, both the strings are equals. So I would like to return some values over here. Return both the strings are equals. Else, then what is the value you are going to return? Both the strings are different. Okay, now. So what is the return type now? String type, right? Okay, so depends upon the value which you are going to return, specify the return type here. The value which you are going to return and the return type of the function both should be exactly matching. Please remember that point here. Okay, if both are different, it will show the compilation error. Now, understood the concept here? Now, let's see. So these are the four functions which I have prepared over here. Now let me invoke these functions. How can we invoke? Now these functions are static functions or non-static functions? Static functions over here. Now, so in this case, how to call the static functions? Class name dot method name. Okay. Now, non-static functions means we have to access by using object of the class. That's it. Simple concept. Now let me invoke these functions. I'm going to the execute anonymous window. I would like to invoke the functions. Now, I would like to write that piece of code here. Common helper dot. I would like to call that addition. Now I'm passing three values because 3400, second value 12,950, third value 27,000. These are the three values. Now tell me, whenever I'm invoking this a function, what it will do? Now it is going to be passing these three values. First number value will be supplied, second number value will be supplied, third number value will be supplied. So it will take this value 3400 over here, 12,950 will be in second parameter here, 27,000 will be third parameter. It will take this three values, it will do the addition, simply it will return the value back. That means this function will be taking these three input values, perform the operation, it won't print the result anywhere, it is returning the value back. What type of value it is returning now? Integer type. So in order to catch that value, we have to define one integer variable here. Whatever the value returned by this function, we can store inside an integer variable. Integer result equals to, we can store that. Understood the concept here? Now, so function is going to be returning some value so that whatever the value returned by that function, I would like to catch it. So that here, upon calling this a function, I'm defining a variable. In this variable, the result will get stored and then we can print the result wherever you want. Now, I would like to represent system.debug addition result is result. Clear? Next. Second one. I would like to call the function get a string length. Now, common helper dot get string length. I'm passing the strings over here. Welcome to parameterized static functions. Now, what this function will do, this function is going to be indicating that, this function is going to be taking this string value as input. Once it is done, it will return that integer value as return type. So this function will return an integer value so that I'm storing the result here, like as characters count. I'm defining a variable with the name chars count to indicate how many number of characters are available. Then we can print that value wherever you want. I'm printing on debug log file. Right now, I don't have any Visual Force pages right now. That's what I'm printing on my debug log file. Next. Now, number of characters exist is chars count. Next, I want to call multiply function. Common helper dot multiply. The function is going to be taking two input values. I'm giving 349, 1287. I would like to multiply these two values over here, which will be returning one integer value here. Now, I would like to define integer multiply result. We can able to store. I would like to represent the value. System.debug multiplication result. I would like to show multiply result. Now, or else I will give you one more mechanism. So in this case, what I'm doing, I'm invoking this particular function. The result I'm storing inside this variable. This variable I'm printing inside this system.debug statement. Instead of doing this particular variable, instead of defining the variable, can we write this statement directly over here? Yes, that is also we can do. That is a second mechanism over here. I'm writing like this. So you no need to define the variable. Okay, like previously we are writing array name dot size method. Okay, similar fashion here also. Okay, next I would like to pass system dot debug. Now check the string equality. Okay, string result is, I would like to call the function common helper dot check equals. I would like to pass the strings welcome, welcome, which will be indicating both the strings are equals or not. It will print the values over here. Clear? Now, so we have to define the functions. Once the functions the definition has been done, then we can represent the result also on your debug log file. Click on execute button. Now we can see the result. So now it is indicating addition result is the value. Number of characters are 42. Multiplication result. So whatever the strings that you are supplied, whether both the strings are equals or not, it is indicating the result both the strings are equals. Clear? This is how we can prepare functions with the parameters of type static here. Okay. Now understood the concept now? Next. Write an Apex program to define the required functions to perform the operations. Then up to the first three.
Excuse me, Feroz. In this function, public static string check equals you pass two string values and check the if condition. Return value is there is no braces, that is not a problem.
You're not required
Okay.
because it's a string, right? Okay, here I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to be, here also I'm not giving any basis because
Oh,
here
okay.
we are collecting this both the values, we are doing the manipulation. That's what I'm using braces, or else
Okay.
not required.
Okay, thank you.
Done with the code? Now, execution. Done with this one? Now, this is the functionality of functions. These are the two types of subprograms are available. We have procedures, we have functions. Okay. So procedures and the functions, what is the main difference? Procedure also can have some statements, function also can have some statements. Both are used to implement the business logic. But depends upon the use, depends upon the requirement, you have to decide whether we can go with procedure or function. So when should we go for procedures? Okay, upon invoking the procedure or upon executing the logic, if you don't want any result back, simply it has to do the operation. In that case, we can go with procedures. Suppose if you want some confirmation back, because I have some other operations are also available which I would like to perform. So based on the result of this operation, I would like to perform the remaining operation. In that case, if you want some result back, then we can go with the help of function. So you have to decide dynamically at runtime here. Okay. Now, understood the concept over here? Now, so this is the concept of subprograms. The next one we have a feature called as collections. So we have to understand what exactly collection, what is the use, what type of collections are available in Apex programming. We'll see in tomorrow's session. Don't miss that part. Collections is the base for entire development. Wherever you go in the entire development, collections will follow suit. Three features are very, very important in entire Salesforce development. First one, conditional statements. Second one, iterative statements. Third one, collections. So these three are the base. Okay. This all this business logic we are writing in the form of procedures and functions only here. These are also important features, but actual business logic we are writing with the help of conditional statements, iterative statements, and the collections. Okay, so conditional statements are already we are done. Iterative statements also we are done. Now we are going to be discussing about collections in tomorrow's session. It will take 3 to 4 sessions completely because we have three collection classes are available. Each collection class will have some set of methods. How to use them, we'll see. After that, we'll see how to perform the operation of bulkification or bulkify mechanism. We'll see practically. Then we'll enter into SOQL queries concept over there. Okay. Now, so do the practice on these features today. Tomorrow we'll see the concept of collections. Okay.